This will be the third time that I've tried to say the sentence. I seem to be not speaking well this morning, but the sentence is, it's 5:30 in the morning. I went out and got my mail, which I had not gotten for a couple of days, and my microphone cord was in the mail. So I decided to test out my microphone briefly, and I did a little experiment with it, and there is a difference. So, which makes me feel like a little bit of an idiot because, like I said, the connecting piece that goes in this, in the ass end of this thing, was bent. So here it lit up and everything, but it wasn't working. So now I know this is working because I did with the microphone test and without the microphone test before coming on here, and there is a difference. But anyway, like I said, I'm just testing out the microphone. I assume the setting is the same, where only this part of the microphone is hot. I'm not speaking directly into it because I'd have to set it on my stomach in order to do that, and I don't like anything on my stomach. So last night, it's getting toward dusk. It's snowing here. It snowed maybe 3-4 inches or something like that. And my cat is out there, and he doesn't even want to eat. He's fat anyways, but he don't want to eat. He's like, I don't want to eat this shit. It could be the food. I don't know what it was. So I got this cheese that he likes that's in slices, and I tore it up, and I threw it, out the window, 15 feet to the ground, and he's eating some of the cheese. And then I thought the forecast for last night was a low of 22. So I was like, you know what? I'll let him stay in the house for a while, just for the night, and we'll see how he acts or whatever. Don't tell me that animals don't hold grudges. They hold grudges. Don't tell me that cats and dogs aren't intelligent. They're intelligent. If you're intelligent enough to be pissed at somebody to the point where, like, fuck you, I'm leaving. I want your heat. I don't want nothing to do with you, because that's what happened. Is I got that bell that they're trained to come to. So he didn't really want to eat. He didn't like his food. And, it's snowing on him, and I'm thinking about, like, the snow's melting on his back and stuff. It's like 29 degrees or something like that. So, I was like, I'll let him chill in the house. So I got that window that I got to prop open with a board, and I ring the bell, right? And one of the stray cats, he's like, the coast is clear, because my cat jumped up and was sitting there looking at me, and then the other cat like cuts behind him and runs back and eats the food. But my cat won't come in the house. He's just sitting there meowing at me like, well, you gonna give me something or what? What's the deal here? But he won't come in the house while I'm there. And I'm like, well, fuck it, I'll leave. So I left, and I just leave the window open, and I go in my bedroom for like 5 minutes. And I'm like, okay, I can't be having my window propped open. It's cold out. And, because it's getting on toward when I get sleepy, and I definitely don't want to fall asleep and leave the window wide open all night due to burglars and the fact that it's supposed to be 22 degrees at night. So, after, like I said, 5 minutes, I come out of the bedroom, and lo and behold, there's my cat sitting in my house for the first time in about 3 months. And he's over in the corner in front of the register by the stove where all the heat comes out. So I'm like, I'll give him his space. I'll observe the COVID 6-foot rule. And I made it about 8 feet. And I said, hey man, how you doing? Got another piece of cheese just like I was throwing outside that he was gobbling up. And he's sitting there looking at me. And I'm leaned up against the sink, and there's only like a narrow way between the sink and the counter. There's like a narrow walkway. Like, it's so narrow that I can do like dips. I can put my hand on the sink, and I can put my hand on the counter, and I can do dips. But I'm just sitting there, and I'm talking real nice to him and everything, and I throw him a piece of cheese. He don't even blink. He's just looking at me. His eyes do not even follow the piece of cheese. And then, like, I throw another piece of cheese at him. It's the same thing. He's just looking at me. And I'm like, well, what's the matter, man? You don't want no cheese? And he just keeps looking at me and looking at me. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to try to pet him or make any moves toward him. I'm just going to leave him alone. And he very slowly walks in that little alleyway. And I don't even bend down to pet him or nothing. And I'm like, where you going, man? Why don't you stay in here where it's warm? And he very slowly and purposely walks out and jumps back out in the cold. And I'm like, well, fuck. Then I don't know, like 15 minutes later, I start to get hungry. And I'm like, well, I got this ham sandwich with Bavarian ham in the freezer with pretzel bread. I guess that'd be pretty good to eat. So I get the ham out of it, and I take like a big chunk of ham out of it. And I'm like, well, let's see if this works. And prop open the window in the living room, ring the bell, ring the bell, ring the bell. No sign of them at all. I look in the back, ring the bell, ring the bell, ring the bell. No sign of them at all. The other two cats that are, like neighborhood cats or whatever, like, what are you ringing this bell for? Driving us crazy. Give us something. So I had picked up the pieces of cheese off the floor and threw it out to those cats. And I had the ham, and I threw one of the pieces of ham out to the gray cat. And I go back to the window and I ring the bell again, and the gray cat comes up and he's like gonna jump in my house, which he's been in my house before. I'm like, no, I don't want you in my house, man. I was like, I was gonna save this big chunk of ham for my cat and give it to him this morning, but I'm like, fuck him. I threw it out the window and I gave it to the gray cat, and I closed the window to make sure he wouldn't jump in my house, because he's like, hey man, he's always like, hey, you need a cat? You want a cat? I'm a cat. Have you noticed? So, yeah, my cat's like, you're the motherfucker that threw me outside. I don't like you. I don't give a fuck if it's cold outside. I'm going outside. And it wasn't like I didn't give him his space or I tried to pet him or, and it wasn't like he didn't know that this was his house, because as soon as I left, he came in the house and went and sat over by the heat, He's just holding a fucking grudge. I'm going to do the same thing tonight, because I read the weather forecast and I got confused anyway. It only went down to 26 last night. Tonight's one's going to go down to 22, so I'll try it again. If I can get him to come in the house, I will just sit in here and leave the window open. But the problem with that is that other cat will come in and he might run behind the couch and be like, fuck it. It's warm in here. I like it. It's warm. I got a full belly already. And then I'll have two cats. I don't even want one cat. So I don't know if that other cat will come in the house, but you just can't leave your window open, because you'll have stray cats be running in your house, especially if it's 22 degrees. But I'll try it again. And, because sooner or later, it's going to get like really cold around here. And like I said, he might not even want to stay in here, because he's got his heavy winter coat built up. So I took a good look at him, and he looks better and healthier when he's outside than when he's stuck in the house, like me. So it's like, it's not bad for him to be outside. He doesn't seem to require petting. He never required a lot of affection. He liked being petted, sometimes, but he was never like sit on your lap, like love me, love me, love me kind of cat. I like that about him. He stood off by himself. If you wanted to pet him, it was cool. So he'd let you pet him and stuff, but he's like, whatever. You can do without it. But I got to get him to where he'll be willing to come inside when it gets to the single digits around here and stuff, because he's old, and it's like, he doesn't look old. He looks really healthy, and his coat is magnificent. And like I said, he might not even stay in here, but it would be nice to give him that option. And he doesn't have to be in here all the time. That's what was getting to me, was he was in the house like all the damn time, blowing up the litter box. And it's hard enough for me to wake up in the morning without, this is just like a hallway, like I've said. So it's basically like walking up, and it's like, oh, there's that wonderful smell. And now I'm going to make coffee while I'm smelling shit. Wonderful. And speaking of shit, as soon as I called my brother, my bowels decided to unlock. So, go figure. Like I said, my autoimmune system, which controls digestion and heart rate and stuff like that, is hooked into my emotional centers. That's why, like I was trying to explain to my family for so many years, it's like, if you fuck with my head, you fuck with my health. So, anyways, the last couple days, uh, you know, and then today, probably the way it feels, So I'm like back on track there. Because I woke up on Monday and I was like freaking out because I felt sicker than hell. I couldn't breathe right, and like I couldn't turn my neck toward the computer screen without stabbing pains. I still got a little bit of that, but I can turn it now. I'm like, what in the fuck is wrong with me? And this, I took my temperature and I was like, don't have a fever, so it's not COVID, because I was like congested feeling. And I just felt awful. And I'm like, this has to do something, like, I don't know, with not going to the bathroom for like 9 days. So, but yeah, that situation has changed. So that's good. My cat hates me, but my bowels no longer do. So that's the gist of this video. Called my brother last night and he wasn't available. And I didn't leave a message because I don't like to wake him up because it's pointless. So I let the phone ring like 4 or 5 times because he doesn't sleep regular hours. I called him about 5 o'clock or so, which is early. I usually would call him from 7 to 10 o'clock just because that's just the best time to call him. But, I assume he was sleeping. Like I said, we talked for a good long while until he wanted to get off the phone. So I guess that's okay, but not much else is. Hopefully the microphone's okay, and I know it's working because it sounded different. It doesn't sound like all that different to me, but I noticed a difference. So, I can't afford you. I can't be prettier, and I'm lazy about putting up my background because that's more complicated than you think. I am thinking about cleaning off the recliner and setting the computer on my lap and like talking that way. I prefer, like, it makes me relaxed and less inhibited, less like I'm putting on a performance. Uh, you know, I know it's like it's like listening to a dying man, or something like that. But wait a minute, that could be the case anyway. So, um, but yeah, don't ever let anybody tell you that animals don't have feelings, that they don't hold grudges, that they don't remember shit, because they remember shit. Believe me. Because the cat wanted in the house and it wanted to lie by that register, but it looked at me and it kept looking at me, and I was like, I remember you, motherfucker. And like I said, when I had to coax him back in the house when I thought I was going to move in last summer, I couldn't get him to come near me with tuna fish. That's his favorite thing in the world. It's like I had to throw the tuna fish far away from me, and he ate it, and then he like shunned me like I was Amish and put his back toward me, and I'd be talking to him and his ears would go back, but he wouldn't turn around and look at me. So for all you, for if I know none of the people that are listening to this are, most people are animal people and they get it, but there are people like my dad that don't get it. But if by chance anybody happens to tune into this that don't understand that, Hey, animals have feelings. They're, those are the people that, I mean, I don't want to go into it too deeply, obviously, because I'm just testing out my microphone. But there's people that are like human beings, animals. It's like, no, human beings, animals. Like, we're not that much different. When you're talking about higher, you're talking about mammals anyway. Not that much different. Um, they just they just can't do the whole abstract reasoning. Um, they're more honest about their emotions. They tend to bite you instead of like talk behind your back to Kathy over there about what a dick you are. They'll just bite you outright. They're more honest that way. Yeah, so they don't do abstract reasoning. They don't do language. They don't understand symbols. They live in a world of smells where, and they're easier. And, but everything else about us, same about them. They have feelings, they have emotions, they have bad days, they have good days. They're happy puppies. They're sad puppies some days. Some days they roll around on the floor and show you their belly. And some days they will scratch you if they're a cat. If you fuck with them, they can be moody, you know. Dogs less so. Cats more so because dogs a pack animal. They're social creatures. That's why they say dog people and cat people and all that crap. Is really what it's about. Is like a dog is a pack animal. You're part of their pack. They identify with you. They're like, I got your back. The cat will sit there and watch you get the shit kicked out of you by some guy, where a dog identifies with you. Your survival is linked to their survival. It's not so much that they love you and that they like you. It's a pack thing. It's like, yeah, this guy is part of my gang, and this other gang is fucking with him. We can't let that go down. See, that's how dogs are. And that's why there's dog people and there's cat people. Cats are independent because they're built that way. They're not a pack animal. So they're independent, like emotionally, and yeah, they're not that interested in your survival the same way a dog is. Dog will throw down for you. A cat will like be like, dude, I don't know what kind of bullshit you got mixed up in here today, but you know what? I'm out. Okay, I'm like, dog, a cat might be like, go over to you while you're on the ground, knocked out, and be like, hey man, does this mean like I have to go somewhere else to get my food? I mean, hey, I'm doing a cat gesture of like shaking somebody's shoulder. Hey, wake up, man. Make with the friskies. You know what I'm saying? Uh, so, anyways, hopefully the microphone works. And yeah, my cat likes heat, but he don't like me. So that's cool. Whatever. It's not. It's more for like the frigid weather. I mean, I'll try it again tonight and see if he wants to come in tonight. But it's more for like whenever the really frigid weather hits, because depending upon where you're from, 22 sounds pretty goddamn cold. But this is 60 miles from Canada, so not that cold, especially in December. So, anyways, that's enough testing of the microphone. And of course, there's nothing to report because I think I just was on here a minute ago. So, anyways, the skies are becoming bright out, and another day is dawning. And the only thing I have to do today of any significance, besides, I don't know, the basic necessities of life, which I struggle with, is I was gonna say her name, and that's why I'm drawing a blank as to what to call her. I don't know, my case manager from Coleman. I guess that'll work. Is supposed to call today because she was supposed to come and visit in person. And since I was real sick on Monday, like I don't even want to get out of the bathroom type sick. no, I don't want to get up and go to the bathroom type sick. And then Tuesday, yesterday, I felt better. And by the way, I think I got ripped off by an aid worker for the first time because I just gave him a bag of money and like 2 small bags of clothes and sent them to the laundromat. And I didn't get no change. And we didn't talk about change. And I looked for change in the bags and stuff. And I'm like, hopefully she just forgot. But if she needs to steal like a $4 or $5, I mean, yeah, she can have it. I would try to tip them sometimes, not over laundry, but going to the laundry is expensive. But I had a baggie with $13 in cash and a bunch of quarters in it. Now you cannot tell me that, oh, that was the exact amount down to the quarter that was needed. So she probably forgot to give me my change. It was a completely new person that I had never met before. So, but I think she robbed me accidentally, hopefully, but she robbed me either way, which I don't really care. I just don't. But I was like, huh. I thought about it later, and I checked, like, my prescription bag was also open, which is also interesting. I may not like my new aid worker because I'm like, why is this prescription bag torn open? Should I count my pills? Because it was torn open to where you could pull the bottle out and like put it back in. And I'm like, I'm not gonna count my pills though. But should I count my pills? Is she like skimming off the top? It's like, oh, these are a controlled substance. Gabapentin. I can take these with my downers, man, and they'll amp them up. I heard about this shit. I'll mix these with my Oxy. Yeah, man. I'll just take 10. They'll never know the difference. They'll think the bag got torn on accident. But I've never had that happen before where, like, I got a prescription bag and the bag was torn. And like I said, the bag was torn perfectly so that you can pull the bottle out and put the bottle back in. So I don't know about this new aid worker. Yeah, I don't want her stealing. I like gabapentin when I need them, so I don't want her I don't think I'm going to be that bored. I mean, there's 90 of them in there to count them out. I'm going to assume the best. I'm going to assume that she didn't steal my pills and she didn't steal my money. But she didn't. I mean, the laundry thing is even more suspicious than the torn open prescription because, like I said, laundry can't come down to the quarter. You have to feed quarters into the dryers and stuff. I had just the right amount of money. And whenever somebody has to spend their own money, they're going to bring it up to you so you can say, oh, thank you, so they can get praise and stuff. Like the big girl, which I don't even know if she works there anymore. I haven't seen her for a month and a half. But like the big girl, the one that refused to work during the COVID crisis and tricked me. Occasionally I wouldn't have enough money and she would point out that I just, threw in $1, or she'll be like, I bought these for you, because people just don't do stuff and then not expect a thank you for it like that. They're not going to spend any of their own money and not expect a thank you. That's why I'm saying I should have got some change. It's not going to come down to a quarter. If it went over, I think I had like $17 in there. If it went at least $17. So the math is really bad, I'm going to assume that she forgot. If she's my regular now, or if I get her again, I'm going to ask her. I'm not going to call the agency and rat her out or anything like that over a couple of bucks, just until I'm sure what happened. But now that I think about it, I just didn't really even think about it. I got a lot of things to think about besides that, but I'm like, yeah, that's super suspicious. That's like the millennials say sus. They don't even bother saying suspicious. It's like writing a U instead of Y-O-U. It's like, you're too lazy to finish a goddamn word, man. What's wrong with you people? That's real sus, they say. instead of suspect or suspicious. Uh, I don't like it. Where's the old-fashioned work ethic? Okay, I'm gonna quit trying to be funny now, because if you can't get the words out right, it doesn't work. It's like stumbling over a punchline. So I'm not gonna try to be funny. You know how I am. I'm a ham. So like, I got my new microphone cable, old microphone, new microphone cable. So it's only natural that I'm hanging around way too long. And so, anyways, yeah, like I said, weird. Not gonna get her in trouble over it. Not gonna call and be like, "Hey, my prescription bag was torn open," and it's one thing if it's got a little rip in it or whatever, but I mean, this is like a perfect tear for pulling out the bottle and stuffing the bottle back in. Um, so yeah, I'm not gonna count them out though, and I'm just gonna ask her the next time I see her. It's like I didn't get any change. How much did it cost? Because we didn't. It's another thing. Like, is you usually have to sign a paper whenever you hand over money. So so there's no misunderstandings. So like when they come back after they spend your money, they give you your change, and then they have you sign a paper. They have a little paper. They write down the amount of money that you gave them, and then you sign it, and that signature means that you got your change. Well, I didn't sign nothing like that yesterday, so it'd be my word against hers, anyways. But complaints never look good. Um, in a way, I don't even really care because they don't get paid shit anyway. It's like a tip. But that's the first time I had her. I don't even know if she's a good worker or not. All I know is, like I said, all my money got spent, and I don't know how many quarters I had in there. I had $13. It was only two small bags of laundry, and there was $13 in whatever quarters I could scrounge, which probably anywhere from $2 to $5 worth of quarters. I don't go to the laundromat. I know it's way more expensive than when the days that I used to go to the laundromat, but yeah, suspicious as hell. But that's enough. That's enough. I'll see now if my voice sounded pretty with this microphone. Uh, uh, it's my morning voice anyway, so it might not sound all that good, but I thought I'd test it out. I'll talk to you later.